Hello, I'm Johnke, and I'm going to be doing my persuasive speech for fundamentals of speech. Imagine an alternate history on our world in which no explorers explored the world. Imagine if Christopher Columbus had never crossed the seas to find the Americas. Imagine if Marco Polo never tied Europe with Asia. Imagine if Vasco da Gama never tied Europe with India. If all these explorers never went out to explore the unknown, the human race would be nowhere, and we wouldn't have near the things that we have. And in order to progress the human race, we must explore. And the explorers in our past played a huge role, and the explorers of the present are playing a huge role. And the frontier for the future is outer space. Let me explain. So, since most of our planet has already been explored besides the deep oceans, people may be thinking, well, now we should focus on our own problems. But I think that we should be exploring space more than we have, and for this reason I must declare that space exploration through systems such as NASA need more funding for 4 reasons. 1, space exploration can solve many of Earth's problems. 2nd, space exploration can lead to new inventions. 3rd, exploration is part of human nature and must be reached to satisfy human needs. And then 4, exploring space can help us answer the big questions in life. Let me move on to my first point. Space exploration will help solve many of Earth's problems. Many think that Earth's problems should be solved before we put more money into space exploration, such as world hunger and overpopulation and things along those lines. But senior astrophysicist of the Smithsonian Astrophysical Observatory had an article published about how much resources are in space. And they discovered that there's one asteroid near Earth that has over $40 trillion worth of metals and other materials on that single asteroid. And if we had enough technology to get to that asteroid and bring it to Earth and use those materials, it would help solve many of Earth's problems. And things along these lines can help fund even further space travel, and it'll just be a snowball effect of technology and the field of science. And another thing that a lot of people are worried about on Earth is overpopulation. This is where space colonization comes into play. Now, I know it kind of seems like a far-fetched dream that you'd see in Star Wars and Star Trek, but space colonization is not that far off at the trend of at the trends that we're going at right now. The way technology is evolving at an exponential rate, we will be able to colonize other planets if we try hard enough to do so, and we put enough funds into doing this. And with the exponential rate of with the human population, space colonization is something that we must have to do in order to either A, get new resources for our planet, or B, have room for the human race to grow and develop even further. And this takes me in, this is going to lead to my other point, that to solve more problems, inventions are one thing that people create or invent to solve more problems. And space exploration helps solve these problems, which takes me to my second point. Space exploration can lead to new inventions. In the past, NASA and other space programs have invented many things to help in space that has helped us. Handheld vacuums. We can thank NASA for inventing handheld vacuums and the mechanism used in that. Memory foam. NASA helped us invent memory foam, and home insulation was also something that was needed for space travel, and we wouldn't have had those if we didn't explore space or need them to explore space. Workout machines such as ellipticals and treadmills also can be thanked for space exploration because they needed astronauts to be able to stay in shape with the lower gravity of other planets in outer space, so they needed the workout machines to keep their muscle mass up and things along those lines. And then artificial limbs, prosthetic limbs and things along those lines also were invented by space programs such as NASA. And so if you know someone who has recovered from missing limbs with artificial limbs, you can thank space exploration for those artificial limbs that they have. Some inventions can solve world problems, and some can be minor problems, such as the vacuum is a minor problem, such as cleaning up messes. But major problems could be like solving world hunger. Space exploration, eventually, if we were to get to space colonization, we would need means of growing easy food in other planets and harsh climates, such as growing food on Mars would be similar to growing food in rough areas of Africa. So you could tie those two together, and whatever technology we use towards growing easy food on Mars would be similar to growing more easy food on Africa, and could help solve world hunger that way. And this will take me onto my third point, that exploration is part of human nature. Since the beginning of time in history, explorers have been exploring the world, and they've been looking at the stars, and it is human nature to be curious and to want to discover and explore. And since humans have this innate ability to think and comprehend different things, we also want to explore and discover for ourselves to help expand our brains and our knowledge. And why should we put barriers on our rights of exploration? Space exploration will be the next step of human nature in the field of exploration, and it's no different than old ancient European and Asian explorers finding other continents and islands, but this is just on a bigger scale, more technological scale of the modern age. And then I have one fourth point, and a final point here, is that space exploration can lead to answering the big questions, such as why are we here? How did we get here? Are we alone on the planets? How did any life form begin? How is the universe made? Does the universe end? And if it ends, what's at the end? These questions can be answered with further space exploration, and NASA has been trying to answer these questions, but they just simply don't have enough information to try and answer these questions. And to conclude my speech, I just want you to think again of history's explorers. I want you to think of what they did, such as Lewis and Clark exploring the West. The West was an untamed land to them, and eventually led to us colonizing it, and led to what we have as the United States right now. And there could be a gold rush to California, could then be the gold rush to space. And we could bring capitalism to space and begin to make space part of our own community and really begin to thrive as a human race. And I think that space exploration could lead to many problems being solved here on Earth. I want everyone who is watching this to go onto YouTube and watch the video "We Must Explore" on YouTube. It should be the first result. And by watching this video, I think you should get a drive of why we should explore space even more. And here, a quick review of all my points. Space exploration can solve problems, lead to new inventions. It's part of human nature to want to explore, and it can answer the big questions. Thank you for watching.